So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about moving to a new place and making that transition not only into the physical change, but the change within you as easy and smooth as possible. I'm sharing my 4 tips based on mistakes that I made and things that I wish I had done differently when I moved to a new city and a new country 6 months ago. I'm packing up my life to move once again, but I know that the minute that I land somewhere new, these are the 4 things that I will do immediately to make that transition easy and possible. So let's get started. My name is Selena, and I'm here to guide and inspire you to live a lit up life. And I really believe that it starts with clarity. So I help you get clarity on what you want, build the confidence to believe that it's possible for you, and the courage to go out and claim it. I really believe that simple daily practices are the key to creative living. So if this is resonating with you, and if you are really at a place in your life where you're ready to claim your life, I'm so excited that you're here. I invite you to hit subscribe. I share weekly videos, sometimes bi-weekly content on just this. I help you get inner clarity on what you want, and I want you to always leave this channel feeling inspired, expanded, and empowered. I'm sharing my 4 tips on things that I wish I had done differently when I moved to a new city and new country to help make that transition as easy as possible and to meet the inevitable challenges that come with changing your entire life with as much grace and care, and not let fear hold you back. Okay, so let's just get into it. So my first tip is to figure out your transportation and get mobile immediately. So if you're moving to a new place and there's public transportation, awesome. Right away, familiarize yourself with the system and the map. Where do you live? Where do you work? Where are areas that you want to explore? And familiarize yourself with the payment structure. So do you need to get a transportation card? Can you use your phone, et cetera, et cetera? Just figure out those logistics so that you feel really empowered when you step out the door and safe so that you can explore. If public transportation is not available in where you're moving, figure something out. A car, a bicycle, a skateboard, rollerblades, a boat. Maybe you need a boat, I don't know. And if you are moving somewhere where you need a boat, please drop it in the comments below so that I can expand my mind into where you might need a boat for daily transportation. But all of this to say is get immediately, independently mobile. So from my experience, this is something that I really, really regret, and it caused me a lot of pain. For the first 3 or so months of moving here, I hummed and hawed about getting a car. I was like, I can't really afford it. They're expensive. I don't know how to drive a manual, which is true. And I really just kind of sat and hummed and hawed. Now, I can have a lot of understanding and grace for where I was coming from because I had just lived in New York City for 11 years. I never needed a car, and I have actually never bought a car. So a car had never really been a part of my daily life. But those 3 or so months that I hummed and hawed, I felt so trapped. I felt so stuck and so stagnant and so trapped. And I now realize you can't put a price on freedom. And I will say that again for the girls in the back. You cannot put a price on freedom. I did finally get a car. I learned to drive a manual transmission. I did learn how to drive it, and I felt so much more free. So independent freedom and mobility is incredibly important, and that is absolutely step 1 to when you move somewhere new is figure out your transportation. Okay, step 2 is to join a club, a group, or a class. This I feel like is especially relevant if you are a remote worker, because I'm gonna guess that you didn't move to London, Atlanta, Los Angeles, I don't know, the countryside, the beach. You didn't move to wherever it is that you are to sit at home after work by yourself. You need to get out in the world, get beyond your work. Join a club or a social group immediately so that you can start to get integrated into the culture and society, so that you can start to build relationships, because those relationships will just be conduits for the next relationships, but you need to get integrated and into a community. So again, this is a mistake that I really made. And part of why I struggled with this is because I didn't have a car. I wasn't able to go out and start taking classes and get involved. But I know the minute that I move somewhere new, this is going to be a huge priority of mine. So here are some thoughts that I have. Join a sports club. I would push you a little bit farther than to just join a traditional gym, because the goal here is that you want to be with the same group of people consistently over some time so that you can really build relationships and start to like integrate more into the community. So join a sports team, join a racket club. So if sports and fitness aren't your thing, join an art class, a book club, a writing group. Just get integrated and don't overthink this too much. You're not writing your name on this experience in blood. You can always change, but it's just this push to immediately start to get socially integrated and meeting people. My third tip is to be open to change. Now, chances are, if you are desiring a move or you already have a move in the works or you've recently moved, you are open to change. You're like, cool, great, I'm willing to change my entire life for a new experience. But that's not totally the change that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the change within. Be open to experiencing or meeting or exploring parts of yourself that maybe you didn't realize were there. And be open to the fact that your identity is going to change and evolve. And that, my friend, is a good thing. So here's the example in my own life. In New York City, I lived there for 11 years, and for the past 10 years that I was there, maybe 8 to 10 years, I was a yoga teacher. I took classes, my friends were all through the yoga community, I taught nearly every day, I was deeply involved in yoga in New York City. The first place that I moved out of New York was to Paris, and I was there for just 4 or so months. The weirdest thing happened when I got to Paris. Shh. I didn't want to do yoga. I didn't want to go to classes. I didn't want to teach public classes. I taught some privates, but I didn't teach public classes. And the real red flag to this was I was invited to a Thanksgiving potluck by a French-American woman who I actually had met in a yoga class many years ago. And I show up to this potluck and it's all yoga teachers. And they're all talking about yoga. 3 years ago, I would have been so in this conversation. Like, this was my jam 3 years ago. But sitting at this potluck and hearing these conversations, I was getting such a sense of like panic. And I just realized, I was like, I don't know why, but this isn't aligned for me right now. And rather than go through this massive identity crisis of like, but I'm a yoga teacher, like, how can I not? Rather than do that, I was like, okay, what do I want to do instead? So I just started to pay attention to the things that I was called to and not forcing anything that I wasn't called to. So when we moved to Grenoble, which is in the Alps, I started going through these really long walks. I started hiking again in my free time. I had a full ski season, which was so wonderful. I bought a road bike and I started road cycling. I allowed myself to expand and experience new parts of my identity. And so I'm sharing that with you because I want you to be open with your heart and your mind for the fact that things will be different. You will be different. And that is a good thing. So don't waste your time having some weird identity crisis. Don't overthink it. Just go with what you're feeling and be ready to experience something new within yourself. Okay, my fourth and final tip. This is an important one. Take really good care of yourself. Change is difficult. It is. It's beautiful and necessary and expansive and growth-oriented, but it has challenges. Being out of your comfort zone is really tiring sometimes. It takes a lot of energy to get lost on a new subway system, to learn a manual driving car, to meet new people, to constantly feel like you're stepping outside of your comfort zone. If you're moving abroad or to a new country with the language barrier, it's so tiring and you don't realize just little things, like asking for where the milk is at the grocery store. Little things are really tiring. That is not meant to discourage you. I am a huge believer that those things are that personal growth is like the reason that we're here on this earth. And in order to grow, you need to step out of your comfort zone. But I am simply sharing that with you because I want you to be empowered with the knowledge that it's going to be extra taxing on you. And that just means that you need to take extra good care of yourself. Rest. And you're probably going to need more rest than you needed in your life before, and that's okay. Rest. Have weekends or Sundays where you make no plans. Even if you want to go experience and explore, make no plans. Move your body. Eat well. Take care of yourself. And by doing so, you're going to make this transition period so much softer and more gentle on yourself. And another piece that's part of this taking care of yourself is to be patient. Changing everything takes time. Feeling like you belong or feeling comfortable, feeling like you're like there, it takes time. And it might take like 3 to 5 years, and that's okay. It is okay. So if you can just empower yourself with that knowledge, be kind to yourself, be patient, and just let this experience unfold, I guarantee that in 5 years' time, you're going to look back and it's just going to be a little blip on the radar of what this sort of challenging or difficult moment is. And as always, just remember to have a lot of fun, because that's really what we're here for, is to have fun. Okay, so those are my 4 tips. Get immediately mobile and feel independently free. Join a social club or a sports club, something where you're going to be around the same people consistently so that you can start to feel integrated into the society and the culture and make friends. Be open to your identity shifting and get excited to meet the new you. And then 4th and finally, take really good care of yourself and be patient as this journey and experience continues to unfold. I'm so excited for you. If you are moving or you've recently moved, drop it in the comments below so that we can see where we're all coming from. If you dream of moving somewhere, drop it in the comments so that I can get excited and hold that vision for you. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit subscribe, because I'm here with you every week to share tools and tips to live a radiant and lit up life. Okay, that's all I have for you. Have a wonderful day. See you next week.